Welcome to the ultimate gaming realm, and this is your curator, Dixon, logging on. The Thing, a 1982 film directed by John Carpenter. Not to get confused with the inferior but okay prequel with the same title sounding more like a remake if nothing else. I don't know why Hollywood does that these days. I mean, how would anybody supposed to know if it's a sequel or a prequel or a remake? Well, since it's a prequel, they should have called it The Thing Zero. With the subtitle Zero at the end, it's going to at least tell us it's a prequel. And speaking of remakes, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake from the 1951 Howard Hawks film, The Thing from Another World. Well, there is a big difference between the two films. The 1951 Howard Hawks version is about focusing on one big monster. Now, I haven't seen the Howard Hawks film in quite a while, so I don't remember enough details to explain and compare with the 1982 remake. But I do remember one thing, that both films are way different than the others. And unlike most remakes, I totally prefer the 1982 version over the 1951 version on this round. Other than that, most of the time I detest remakes. The 1982 version of The Thing sticks more closer to the original 1938 science fiction novel by John Campbell Jr., Who Goes There? The 1951 version was loosely based off the novel. Now, I haven't read the novel. I actually heard that the 1982 version sticks more closer to the novel. Now, here's a part that I don't get. I don't know how they went from the title of the novel, Who Goes There, to the movie title, The Thing. Who knows? Now, I have to say that John Carpenter's version of The Thing is no shadow of a doubt one of my all-time favorite remakes, and one of the only few remakes that can pull it off over the original. The Thing is also a direct inspiration for video games like the Dead Space series. And speaking of video games, in 2002, they made a video game based off the 1982 version of The Thing for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. Except it was a sequel to the 1982 movie. And yes, I was so excited about this being released. It's now January 2015, it's still winter and it's still fucking cold, so it's the right time to work on the Thing project. I remember getting this one for the PlayStation 2 when it came out in September of 2002, about a month before the number one game of 2002 was released, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. The Thing is one of my top 10 games of 2002, but most certainly not number one. The game takes place a few days later from the 1982 film on the U.S. Outpost 31 in Antarctica, after McCready, who was portrayed by Kurt Russell, and Childs, who was portrayed by Keith David, both sitting out in the cold and waiting what's going to happen next. The game picks up to where the movie left off at. Two teams of the U.S. Special Forces, the Beta team was sent to investigate the U.S. base, and the Alpha team was sent to investigate the nearby Norwegian base. Both teams are under overall command of Colonel Whitney. The leader of the Alpha team is Captain Pierce, and your character and the main protagonist of the game is the leader of the Beta team, Captain Blake. The game is a third-person survival horror team tactic game. As Captain Blake, you can control up to 3 team members. You will find a bunch of them throughout the game. But just like the movie, the characters rely on one thing: trust. Because you or they never know if they're infected or not.
Don't you come any closer. Where the hell did you come from anyways?
A chopper brought me in. From the U.S. Research Station, 5 clicks south of here.
I'm hurt pretty bad.
Don't move, I'll see what
There are a few ways to gain trust and respect, like heal one of the teammates if injured, or give a teammate a weapon, Or give yourself and other teammates that are with you a blood test by using one of these portable blood test kits to see if you're human or an imitation.
The hypo contains a chemical that reacts with blood. Do it. We'll soon know, one way or another.
Now I'm gonna show you what I already know.
Burn it, kill it.
Or if they're just too scared and they just want you to do these favors, like destroy these walkers, for instance. Yep, having a teammate with you does rely on trust and respect. Sometimes teammates can come with you with no trouble, but it's recommended to share or help if they're in trouble, so that way you can gain their trust a little bit more. If it's not too late, that is. And at times in the game, you're going to be needing teammates, such as an engineer, because fixing things like these fuse boxes require expertise, and they need to get fixed before you advance further in the level. Some of the basic fuse boxes you can do on your own, but some requires a professional engineer to advance. And a medic on the team always comes in handy, because when you or another teammate gets hurt, regardless of how many times, he will always heal you up. The only downside about the medic is he can't heal himself, so if you have a medic pack, you must heal that medic. And of course there's a soldier who's just an extra gun, and having an extra gun is the least needed out of all experts to advance, but it's always good to have one on the team. You are limited up to 4 team members, but once you get them to join, you have command over them. But some team members do freak out, so there is an adrenaline kit to help them calm down. And if you're in a certain place where there's like a mutated corpse hanging around, you're probably best off keeping your teammates out of that area, unless if you have to pass through, because some of your teammates get scared when they see a mutilated corpse.
I need an engineer.
All right. We're gonna die here. Yes, sir. All right, I'm okay.
I need an engineer.
Okay.
The weaponry includes pistols, grenades, shotguns, submachine guns, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, and most importantly needed for most of these things, a flamethrower. The guns can only destroy humans or human hostiles, or these little spider head things. Guns can do damage on the big things, but the only true way of killing them is to incinerate them with anything flammable like the flamethrower or flame grenade. Bullets can drain their health quick, but the flames destroy them. And there are certain type of items that are required to use in the game, such as a flashlight or a flare so you can see in dark places, or a fire extinguisher so you can put the flame out without getting hurt. And you will be using a fire extinguisher quite a bit. And other items like the adrenaline kits to calm your teammates down, or blood test kits, which I already explained what they can do, and medic packs, which is totally needed because a medic won't always be with you. The graphics in the game are decent, and the game does have a compelling storyline with original ideas, especially for the game being a sequel to the John Carpenter movie. And these Thing creatures are very well detailed, and it lives up to the John Carpenter movie. But the game itself does have a bunch of flaws, and depending on how you play the game, it can be a hard motherfucker. Or should I say, it can be a cheating bitch, just like Chessmaster. Now the gameplay was decent for its time, but it doesn't hold up as much compared to today's standards. And your own character can always get in your damn way because you can't always see what you're shooting. Well, that's mainly when the auto-targeting's on. And there is a first-person view, but you can't move during the first-person view. And it's only recommendable at certain times, so other than that, the first-person view mode's pointless. And trying to kill these big things by starting off with the guns and switching to the flamethrower to finish them off gets tedious after a while. Plus, sometimes you have to use your fire extinguisher to clear a path. And like I said before, medical packs are always needed, and they need to be used wisely because when you start at the beginning of the next stage, you won't get health refills. And with lower health, like if it's at your last hit point for instance, and if you run into these monsters, you're going to have to do your very best not to get hit once, or you're fucked. Well, I wouldn't exactly say you're fucked, because you get to always try again. But it's still a pain in the fucking ass, because it does take time, practice, and patience, which I don't always have, and it gets really frustrating after a while. Bottom line, they should always have a health refill at every stage. And by the way, each items are limited up to 10, including the medical packs. And sometimes you're going to need them to heal your squad members. And they can be rare depending on how you play the game or which area did you get the packs. Yep, I can't argue with the fact that this game can and will be a cheating bitch. My next complaint, the blood test kits. They don't always work like they're supposed to. Because when I did a test on one of the squad members, he turned out to be okay. But a few seconds later, he turns into one of these fucking things. And yes, I kept a close eye on him. So you may as well take your chances and trust who you can find. Just keep a close eye on him. Because these blood test kits don't mean a damn thing. One of the biggest flaws in the game is the AI. The AI is poorly done for your squad members. They don't always follow your instructions, they always keep getting in your way, especially in the line of fire. And when they get in your way during firing, they always have the balls to say, "Hey, watch it! I'm on your side." And I say to him, "I know you're on my side, but why should I watch it? You're the one who got in my way, so you should fucking watch it." And there's times that a team member can get stuck. Now wait a minute, I'm not sure if that was the biggest flaw or not. Well, who cares? Next issue, multitasking. Like concentrating in one direction or on multiple targets in a certain areas, like a narrow stair path, and then you run into pipes with steam coming out of them, and a corpse that has these endless things coming out of their chests, and I tried to burn the corpse, but it didn't do any good. And in the next room, you have to dodge away from these damn turret guns, because chances are you already used up all your good ammo trying to get up there in the first place. And once you get past one of these turret guns, there's always a switch so you can turn these fuckers off. Or you can just shoot the fuckers down. If you have any ammo left, that is. And later in the game, you're going to be retreating through that same direction. Going back and forth really does piss me off. Because there's no health refills. And it's as difficult as it was before. So you're going to have to be wise when getting through the game. Now, with all the flaws and frustrations aside, the game is not perfect. But it does follow the movie quite well. But the replay value kinda wore off throughout the years. And it gets boring, and like I said before, it gets frustrating. But it's still a great game to look back on, and it's one of the most decent movie-based games ever made. It could have been better, but then again, it could have been worse. like many other movie licensed games in history. So I would say if you're a fan of the movie, a horror fan, or a gamer, and if you get a chance or have time, then I would have to say, go for it. Really quick before I call it a video, there's something I recently learned, and I never knew it until now. There was an intended sequel in the works after the success of the first game, but the sequel was scrapped in 2004 due to closures from the makers of the first game, Computer Artworks, which was really a bummer because the first one was still a good one, and they had promising production work for the second game. Well, hopefully the project will get revived. And better, the first game gets a remake. Hopefully. Well, I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. The Thing 2002 game is recommendable for horror fans and fans of the Thing movie. And that's all there is to it. This is Dixon of the Ultimate Gaming Room, logging off.